It was recently announced that over at Netflix, there was going to be a Hannibal movie that was going to be made, and it was going to be directed by Antoine Fuqua and starring Denzel Washington. And of course, everybody was like really excited about it, except for one individual in particular. But we're going to get to that in a second. But what I wanted to do was read the article from Deadline to get an understanding of what's to come with this film. And it was posted November 15, 2023. Now that the SAG-AFTRA strike is ending, why not come out with the elephant-sized ambition? Netflix has attached Denzel Washington to play the ancient Carthaginian General Hannibal in an untitled epic drama that will reteam him with Antoine Fuqua for Netflix. That reunites back star and director who first teamed up on 2001's Training Day. Washington won the Oscar for that turn, and they most recently made the third installment of the Equalizer franchise. John Logan, the three-time Oscar-nominated The Aviator and Hugo Scribe, who knows his way around the sword and scandal saga with Gladiator, is writing the script. Fuqua, Washington, Eric Olsen, and Adam Goldworm will produce. Jeremy Lott and Frank Rodriguez, Mole, will be the executive producers. For Washington, the development brings back a project that he wanted to start in more than 20 years ago, but Fox wanted to make it at a time when Washington didn't want to be away from his kids for an extended period of time. They are now making their own paths in Hollywood, so it seems a better time to get so ambitious. Atop an elephant, Hannibal came over the Alps and attacked Rome from the north, at the time posing the greatest threat to the Republic. Hannibal was a skilled military tactician who led the troops in what is now Tunisia, not far from Sicily. His military victories stood the Second Punic War are a legend, and the story of Hannibal is something Hollywood has been intrigued by for decades. Vin Diesel was attached to a rival pick, and few stars have been bankability to make the costly project worthwhile. This version of the film will follow the pivotal battles Hannibal led against the Roman Republic during the Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BC. The film falls under Fuqua's production company Hill District Media's first look deal with Netflix. Washington is set to return to production on another major period tentpole with Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2, set to restart production shortly and dated for Thanksgiving 2024. Washington is rep by WME and Fuqua is rep by LBI Entertainment and WME. Lott and Mole are both rep by Aperture Entertainment and individually by Goodman Shankman and Myman Greenspan, and Olsen is rep by Tiffany Acosta at Entertainment Law Partners. So that's just a little brief overview right there. It's giving you a little bit of a inside look of what's going to be talked about in the film. They tell you who's attached to the film as far as directors, starring and producers, and that's pretty much it. So we don't know of any other later castings at this point. However, there are some people, well, as far as I know, one person who felt some type of way about this casting when it was announced on the Netflix X account 4 days ago, and I'm recording this on November 17, 2023. And that was none other than Matt Walsh, all up on X, crying liquid Miracle Whip out of his eye sockets by posting this. We are like 2 years away from an Abe Lincoln biopic starring Lawrence Fishburne. Of course, he's trying to be sarcastic about it because he's basically saying that how dare they cast a black man to play a black man. I don't know what's going on inside of the mind of Matt Walsh, nor do I want to know. That's the whole bunch of turmoil that I do not need in my life. You know what it is? I think I know what it is. Matt Walsh got it mixed up and confused with this guy. That's what it was. He got it mixed up with Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. Good movie, by the way. Great, phenomenal movie if you ask me. But that's who he got it mixed up with. When he heard the name Hannibal, he was thinking of Dr. Hannibal Lecter. No dumbass Matt Walsh. They were talking about Hannibal, a person that actually existed in history. Hannibal Lecter, of course, is a fictional character. So I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on inside of the head of Matt Walsh, nor do I want to know. I find it interesting when you have people like Matt Walsh post stuff like this. They don't do any research. They put stuff out there like this. They try to rile people up. But the thing is, it really kind of backfired on him because, believe it or not, it was a lot of PC people, probably even those who follow him, that was correcting him and was like, Matt, what the hell are you talking about? Like, Hannibal was not a white guy, and this is based out of North Africa. But you know, on that paper, they said people who were born or from North Africa under the category of PC. North Africa is on there, so they have to find a way to see if they can have some type of attachment there. And then of course the most common one that I saw in his thread was people keep bringing up Phoenicians and all stuff like that. They always use that a lot, especially when it comes to the debate about Cleopatra's ethnicity. Was she black? Was she not black? Was she this? Was she that? Remember when they came out with that Netflix documentary about Cleopatra back earlier this year, back in May, and they completely trashed it? They went on Rotten Tomatoes, downvoted it and everything like that, made all these hit pieces and think pieces and blog pieces all over the internet talking about it. And the icing on the cake was that Jada Pinkett Smith was behind it, so that was literally another way for them to go at it even more because she was attached to it. But then they did the same thing there. Yet, are we going to talk about all the inaccurate stories about ancient Egypt that they've done over the years? That Gods of Egypt being one of them. And it was another one that came out before then. I think it starred Christian Bale, but I forgot the name of it. That one flopped too. And they wonder why they stopped making those movies, because they never accurately told them. Now, when it comes to the Cleopatra movie starring Elizabeth Taylor back in the day, of course, no one could really push back against it because back then they clearly didn't have the technology to really push against it. But I'm sure it definitely had its controversies of that time. Of course, I wasn't there. I wasn't definitely not alive during the time, so I wouldn't know how all of that pretty much played itself out. But at the end of the day, it still holds a lot of criticism behind it. But yeah, Matt Walsh is just all over X being loud and wrong as usual. I mean, what else do you expect from a person that is a college dropout? Yes, I went there. Matt Walsh, like many others of his ilk, did not graduate from college. And granted, smarts doesn't come from college. But I find that a lot of the ones who come on here and spew that anti-black rhetoric, like a Matt Walsh and some of his tribe, a lot of them dropped out. But then they want to go around screaming how much of a high IQ they have and how much smarter and better they are than other people. What Matt Walsh did right here, whether you want to believe it or not, he's trying to kick off a long-standing hit piece when it comes to this. That way, something that can carry over until the time of the release date of this film, which I believe they're looking for either a late 2024 or maybe early 2025 release. If they want to get it done right, I would say just aim for the 2025. I mean, there's no rush to do something like this. Take your time with a project like this and let's keep it moving. Remember, these are the same people that had all that issue with when they casted Halle Bailey as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. I can't tell you how many times I talked about that and how irate they got when it came to that, and that was a whole fictional character. Man, the fragility, y'all. The fragility is real when it comes to people like a Matt Walsh or a Charlie Kirk who feels like the sky is falling on them or they are losing their privilege and all other stuff like that. They go into panic mode, but when they do that, they start saying asinine stuff like this that makes no sense. It has no coherence behind it. It's not backed or based in anything factual. But then again, like Rob over at Revelation said, we are living in the post-truth era, which shockingly, in case y'all didn't know, is an actual thing. In case y'all were unaware, the quote-unquote post-truth era is an actual thing. Like, I actually looked it up, and shocked to my surprise, it's actually very, very, very real. So people should be very worried about that. But these are the people that said that they're based in truth and all types of stuff like this. But yeah, Matt Walsh, you hold yet another L on top of the many L's that you have been holding for so long and still continue to hold.